I guess that kind of leads into the next piece around who these medications are for, because there's a lot of use cases. It seems like from what I'm hearing, there's a lot of different use cases, a lot of considerations, both from just a clinical perspective, but then also, is this a right thing for me? Because in the era of, well, where we're in now, you can see many different opinions and types of information online, people with good experience, people with not good experience. How do people sort through that and actually find what's right for them when they're thinking about these medications?
And I think that is a really important piece to think about, is because a lot of the conversations come down to, oh, I must not be, heavy enough, or I must not be bad enough to get that. We associate the medications with, oh, we must be, need to be sick or whatever to get them. So when you look at the criteria around like who these medications could benefit, you are looking for people living in a larger body. If they have a high history of, or family history of a lot of health conditions, they can be used in a preventative phase, especially if we're in a phase of weight loss, weight regain, if we're seeing weight gain. For people who have tried multiple times lifestyle, I always talk about, we don't want to keep going down that rabbit hole. Like, let's look at other options. So people who have weight cycled for long periods and end up exactly where they are with more frustration, and potentially when you hear clients go, I lost weight and then I actually regained more than I had started with, that's what we would be using medications for, is to stop that adaptation and weight regain further. And then probably the biggest piece that I feel that we forget is, oh yes, weight is, for some people, it's aesthetic and, look better in our bodies and things like that. But the goal of really those medications also is to support people who are living with other weight related conditions. So what I'm talking about, we're talking about, even some pre-markers like pre-diabetes, or now we're seeing a little bit of borderline blood pressure, and we're starting to see cholesterol move up. These are then what the medications can be supported with, because when you look at the evidence, a lot of the recommendations from health conditions are, a modest 5% of a weight change could reduce a lot of these conditions. So when we frame that of how hard it is actually to get 5 to 10% and keep it off, if you look at the data, the most sustainable is between 1 to 3%. Like, it's actually not even getting the 5% long term. Then again, yeah, we're looking at the medications for people who have these underlying health conditions, that we can slow those progressions of health conditions. So, I don't want people to think, oh, they need to be bad about that, but also there are options to slow down other progressive chronic diseases, which is a big part of that goal of those medications.
And I feel like to some extent, the information that people may find online will probably do them a disservice in ways that pulls the conversation closer to aesthetics and looks, and, oh, this is what this celebrity did, and then it drowns out the more meaningful effects that are probably more impactful for everyday folks, like what you mentioned around the impact of other associated conditions that can have a massive impact on somebody's life beyond just aesthetics and looks, although that is still good to consider for some people. That's whatever is the most meaningful. Mike, Matthew, anything to add there?
Yeah, just to add some other chronic conditions outside of the ones that we more traditionally think of when talking about either weight directly or these medications. There are also going to be things like improving joint pain and muscle pain from some of the excess weight. There are going to be things like improving mobility for the same reasons. Some people see benefits when it comes to fertility when taking these medications. Overall mental health, quality of life, it's kind of all goes together in different domains of life where these medications can be helpful. So it's not just the weight itself, it's not just the chronic conditions we normally associate it with, like diabetes and cardiovascular disease. It's a lot of other things in other areas of life where these things can be helpful.
Matthew, and my goodness, that list can even keep going. Like the research around, we know one of the barriers actually for surgery for withhold or for people waiting for surgery is, oh, hey, we need to wait till you lose 100 pounds. Oh my gosh, like, holy smokes, how are we going to do that? We need a surgery to improve somebody's quality of life, but it's banking on the fact that we've been given really unrealistic weight expectations. So when we're looking things like knees, knee surgery, hip surgery, even actually some of our machines to do preventative health, like our MRIs and things like that, often come with a weight restriction. So sometimes actually using these medications to be able to get better medical care and testing is a huge one. And I don't think we quite put that in the same, I don't think we think about that part of what it could do. And like the sleep apnea is one of them. When you look moving forward, the research now will be, potentially instead of a machine, a medication option could actually be your therapy. So it is being used in other areas. With the main goal of quality of life, right? We can't speak for what that one person's quality of life looks like. And whatever that looks like, a medication might be the option to get that quality of life as well that they're looking for.